Or do you feel like loving someone else and giving someone else that more important to you? Is it worth it?
I love you enough to set you free.
Mm. And then what about when that freedom comes? Because you know that a lot of people say that when you love somebody, you set it free, and if it's true love, it comes back. How you decipher whether or not something is actually true love, or if it's one of those toxic twin flames that just come back?
I love you enough to set you free.
Real quick.
I feel like falling in love.
Do you now?
It's
Do you really?
a bad way I'll make you do, friend.
You feel like falling in love, or you feel like falling in love again?
That's
I gotta hold on to it, friend. Cause see, when it come down to love, friend, I don't really know. I feel like it don't matter how much love you give.
There's still something out there to still give. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome in. Welcome to Rainbow Tea. I'm AK.
And I'm Khiry. And listen, we are back again today. Again, we want y'all to go ahead and make sure y'all follow all of our social media platforms. That is going to be at Rainbow Tea with AK and Khiry. That's going to be at TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Today, we're going to come back again with another thing. Now, y'all know it's the LGBT, and we are going to what, AK?
We're going to talk about it.
We're going to talk about it today. Go ahead and tell them what we're talking about on today.
Today, Khiry and I were tossing around some conversations, and we were talking about love. And what does it mean to love? Is love truly blind? Is love truly unconditional? Because there's many things that we love. There's many people that we love. Mm-hmm. So we were having a conversation, and we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about exactly what that looks like. You have to take a breath like that, friend.
You know, I do. And the reason why I take a breath like that, friend, is because I kind of wonder. I question, I'm pretty sure a lot of other people do too. Is unconditional love really real? Mm. Because, I think that all of us, or at least the majority of us, when we go through and we go into loving people, we love people because of something that they're doing, mm-hmm. something they're providing, something mm-hmm. that they give, something that you see that essentially you haven't seen or received in another person that mm-hmm. you actually have mm-hmm. loved, right? But once you stop seeing that, once you stop feeling that, or once you get to a point where other things start to overshadow that, you stop loving that person, which makes it conditional. It takes away the unconditional portion of it. So we look at things and we tell people things like, I love you unconditionally. I love you more than life itself. I love you to the moon and back. I love you this, I love you that. But you have to sit back and wonder to yourself, if you love me that much, how does that love fade away? How do you get to a point where it's like, 3 years ago, I loved the air this person breathed. I would drink their bath water.
Wait a minute.
And today, the sight of this person
make you upset.
Makes my ass itch. So I just want to know.
Wait a minute.
I just want to know, how does one go from this broad spectrum of I love you more than life itself to I would love life so much more if your ass wasn't in it? How do we go from that to that, friend?
That's pretty loaded, friend. I think everything has a condition to it. I think that there's some type of boundaries around everything. I don't really think that it's just that abstract. Love is an abstract word, but it's so powerful because it means so many things to so many people. Like, I think that we could say that we love someone. The unconditional part, I think that overall is without conditions of your well-being. Okay. What I mean by that, you could just have a love of people. And I just, like, I don't have in my heart to see things or tragic things happen to people.
Okay.
So I think that there's just the undertone of that, that would be the unconditional part. That's it's because it's not really conditioned because you don't want anything to happen to anyone.
Correct. That makes sense.
So I think that that's the part. But when we choose to involve another individual in our lives in any type of spectrum, whether it be family, friends, associates, co-workers, whatever, there are some boundaries. There are some restrictions that we place there based on where we are, how much we love ourselves, and how much where our tolerance level is. So I think that that's where those barriers come in when we add something into the box, into our own personal box.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. So what you're saying is that to you, to your knowledge, essentially, unconditional love doesn't necessarily exist.
I think it does exist. I believe that there is unconditional love because you have to have the unconditional part. Also, you have to have a sense of forgiveness. That's the unconditional piece. You have to have a sense of forgiveness.
Okay.
Means that even though you may violate or cross those boundaries or things that may be there, or there's some type of contradiction, you still have to have an openness of forgiveness to look beyond that particular behavior or incident, but then you know how to place that individual in your life. If we're talking about, personally adding people in our lives, and whether it be, like, again, if it's family, friends, coworker, whatever, how they fit whatever component, whatever that component is, that piece in our life, then there has to be a sense of forgiveness, because there's always going to be something. Somebody's going to always make you upset.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's going to always make you mad.
Correct.
And there's going to be some times where it's going to be like, I just don't even want to look at you right now.
Don't want to see
Don't want to see you. Don't want to see you right now. But it still doesn't mean that you do not ultimately care for that person.
And I think that is a misconception that a lot of people have as well. Just because I don't like you at this moment doesn't mean I don't love you.
Right.
You can love somebody and just not like some of their ways, some things that's going on, how they make you feel at that present moment, things of that nature. But I think a lot of things, when it comes down to love and when it comes down to relationships, the reason why I believe they fail is because people just give up too easily. They get to a point where it's just like, you know what, well, I'm going through this rough patch, but it's not a patch for them. Some people think long term, like, this is going to last forever. And my thoughts is that if you really care about a person, unconditionally, as you would say, then you will realize that through any of this stuff, we can work through it. Let's find out exactly what it is that's causing this patch, so we can go ahead and fill this patch in. Let's go ahead and instead of keep digging in this ditch, let's go ahead and start filling this ditch in, this hole, okay?
So we can get up out this
we can get up out of here and hop over to whatever our next chapter is. Because, baby, sometimes them ditches be a little deep.
Turn to a whole valley.
Sometimes you can put a whole casket in it. Now,
there's a lily in the valley. Hey, but that's key to brighten the morning star. Hey, you gotta turn to.
Sometimes you have to, sometimes you gotta sit back, you gotta think. And a lot of the times people don't really even conquer and figure out exactly what the underlying problem is. Because most times when you're arguing, you're going through these patches, you don't even really understand the reason.
Right.
It's just a patch that you're going through. And most of the time, you're looking around like, why do I keep getting here? Why do I keep getting to a situation? Why do we keep getting to a situation to where we are going through this and we're digging everything deeper? And my thoughts is that usually it's something real small. But I look at problems like a sandwich. Baby, it's going to start off with that one slice of bread.
Wait a minute.
And then you're going to turn around, you're going to throw a little lettuce, a little tomato, a little piece of meat, a little mayonnaise on top, a little mustard, a little onion. And before you know, you got a whole damn sandwich of disaster, a whole sabotaged sandwich.
I'm sick of you.
It's there to just sabotage your relationship. And a lot of the times, people can't see past that because they look at that. What are we talking about? We look at that condition. There is a condition that you are looking for, and once everything seems to get so damn buried to the point where you can't see that condition that was there anymore. Now you stop loving, they stop fulfilling you, they stop stimulating, and I think that that's a major.
All that is conditioned.
And all of that is conditioned.
All that is conditioned. I think we go into relationships. I'm not even gonna say romantic relationships. Whether it be like again, whether it be work, our association with our family, our friends, any of that. There may be someone. Let's just to say there's some type of codependency.
Okay.
Some type of addiction. Whatever that looks like. And even though you may not like it, you may not agree with it, it still doesn't change you being there for that person. So in some ways, the love you have for them is unconditional because you don't cut them completely out of your life. So I think that it is unconditioned for a season.
So, I guess to tag on to what you just now said, do you believe that when you have loved somebody in a deep way, that even after you...
In a romantic way.
In a romantic way.
Okay.
That even after you part ways with them, if it does not work out for whatever reason, do you feel like some level of love remains?
Yes, you can love someone and not be in love with them. There are some relationships, romantic relationships, that may end on that journey together, maybe because the path they were on just did not, it could no longer coexist. But it still did not change that you have love for that person. You wish the best for them. You want the best for them. And you probably would, even if they enter into another romantic relationship, you will hope that they enter into it with someone that is on the same wave as they are. So I think that that is love unconditionally. Sometimes when relationships end, it doesn't have to be bad. You can just grow apart. You can just grow apart. It don't have to be all filled with drama and arguing and fighting and trying to mess up the other person's life, and that's not necessary.
Sometimes it truly just
didn't work.
You grew apart.
It just didn't work.
Sometimes sometimes people, relationships, things, a lot of stuff, it can be seasonal.
Right. But sometimes connections are what they call trauma bonds. You connect with people based on where you are in life. And there's some things that you're going to connect on. And there's some things you're going to connect. You have soul ties, you have trauma bonds, things like that. And it's hard sometimes to break those. So we condition ourselves to just operate in those particular cycles and circles. Although we know that we have outgrown it, that's just like, this jacket might be a little too tight.
Not the jacket.
So you're gonna bust out the seams. It's the same. It's the same way when it comes to connections with people. Sometimes we've outgrown them, but we keep forcing ourselves in someone's life. We keep holding on to people because they've been there for so long.
And then some of them you don't force. True. There's some of them that's considered twin flames. It's one of those things where when you're apart from each other, you are able to go ahead and be separate. You can live your lives. You're able to, coexist and be cognitive. But the moment that y'all kind of reunite, you ignite each other's flames all over again.
Yeah, but it could be a whole Hancock situation.
Ooh, come on, Hancock. For those who don't know about the Hancock.
You gotta watch that movie.
You gotta watch that movie. These two people were bonded together, connected.
For decades.
Connected. Separately, they were strong. To the point where, impenetrable, invincible. Together, they loved each other and wanted to be with each other, but it made them weak. It broke down their shield. And it's one of those things where it's like, you have to question whether or not do you prefer to be whole and solid and invincible and powerful within yourself, or do you feel like loving someone else and giving someone else that, is that more important to you? Is it worth it?
I love you enough to set you free.
Hmm. And then what about when that freedom comes? Because you know that a lot of people say that when you love somebody, you set it free, and if it's true love, it comes back. How you decipher whether or not something is actually true love, or if it's one of those toxic twin flames that just come back?
I love you enough to set you free.
So you saying when you free,
you free, friend. You free. You free. Fly.
So that brings me to something I wanted to also discuss with you. And the real question.
What's the real question, Khiry?
Is love blind?
Is love blind?
Friend, I ain't got no more drink left. I done sat there and tried to drink again.
Is love blind?
I don't even want to answer this question. I'm waiting for you, and I hope that you hit on every
It depends. Let's say love is blind depending on the scope you are looking through. And what I mean, what I'm saying.
Yeah, I need you to elaborate. Elaborate.
What scope is it? Is it based on what you see physically? Is it tangible, or is it something that is just through your ear gate, things you hear, or are you manifesting something from your thoughts, what you desire? So we all have a love of many different things. So I think it really depends on what scope, what you're looking through.
So what lenses? To me, there's just so many factors that go into love being blind. Because some people say, love is blind, and it's one of those things. But it's like, well, we adopted a person that's not of our race. We love them. We adopted a person that is not of our blood. We love them. So we love them blindly. And then you have the things to where it's like, well, this is a same-sex couple, out of the ordinary. We love them because they're still a couple, they're still people. And then you have the interracial dating. We don't see color. We love them in that way. And then all-around blindness, meaning that you legitimately have gone through, tried to date somebody, talk to somebody, got into a situation, communicated, and everything was based off of, I never physically saw you. No physical pictures, no physical interaction. And I finally go ahead and see you, and it's like, I loved who I was talking to. I love the communication, so at this point, I love the person. So my question would be, when you have all those different factors, and technically, yes, you are capable of loving someone without seeing everything that goes along with it. But can you truly love a person without seeing everything?
I mean, well, then love would be blind based on the innocence. Because it's based on no expectation. It hasn't been tainted. It hasn't been, though that level, the water hasn't, there's nothing that's dropped in the water. So you can. So love, at those moments in those times, love would be blind. Because it's not based on anything. And then the flip side to it, I mean, when you say it about the adoption or dating outside of someone who doesn't resemble you in the mirror, it's not about love being blind, it's about love being without restrictions. Because I'm looking beyond what I see. And I'm looking beyond what has been subliminally put in my mind of how I'm supposed to feel about you because you're different than I am. So those blinders have been removed. So then it drops back down to the innocence of, I'm going to allow this to be just platonic. Just that love is platonic. It grows in whatever way that it needs to and meets the need in that moment or that connection with that individual.
I like the way you put that. I really, truly do. Because the way you put that made me feel like, okay, you know what, maybe I could actually love someone without actually seeing or without actually, looking at whatever stipulations, whether it be gender, race, or anything of that nature. Now, my real question is that say you do find this blind love situation where you don't necessarily know gender, where you don't necessarily know what a person looks like on their physical appearance, you don't necessarily know race. Can it stay blind even after you have now realized exactly what it is? Do you feel like it will be altered?
It would change, like it would change once you actually see the physical. It's based on the individual. Again, we can only love something in the capacity of how we love and feel about ourselves. So if you love yourself without restrictions, you can love somebody else without restrictions.
Woo! And on that note, I don't think you can't top that. You can't top that, friend.
Listen, I really do. I think my thing is you can't ask something of someone that you are not willing to do or you can't offer. I can't. It's not a. If I have some self-esteem issues or some validation issues, or I haven't healed the little girl within, or if I got mommy or daddy issues, then I can't necessarily say that I would be able to love someone unconditionally because I have conditions for myself.
You gotta be unconditional with your own self-love before you actually get to a point you can
love somebody else, right? When you can stand in the mirror and look at and accept you for you without wanting to alter you, then you're able to kind of see people in their authenticity and not want to alter them.
What y'all think about that?
You heard what I said.
With that, listen, I don't have anything else on this. Okay? So, but we do want to make sure that y'all let us know what y'all think about this situation. AK, I think that was brilliant. That was a great conversation.
It was awesome.
Again, we want y'all to make sure y'all send in any questions, comments, concerns, topics y'all might have. Go ahead and send that in to us. AK, go ahead and give them the email address.
The email address is rainbowt_AK_Khiry@gmail.com. Send that in. Ask us all questions. Please feel free to visit us on any platform on social media. In addition to, you know what, Khiry? It'll be a shame to where people we have religion. Well, I don't want to say religion because religion is restriction, but we have a faith and believe, and we love God and we worship and we praise and run all over the church and everything.
Absolutely.
So everybody has their own interpretation of what he looks like.
Everybody.
So when that day comes,
right? Will you still love God when you find out what he looks like?
Right. Ooh. Will you still love him?
Okay, we're not doing this. we are clocking out. We are clocking out. We will catch y'all next time. Please make sure y'all tune in with us every Tuesday. New videos going to be uploading at 6 p.m.
Every Tuesday.
And
Rainbow
also, we will be having live Q&A on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. So y'all tune in with us. And until then, we'll see y'all next time.
Y'all take care. Be safe.
I decided today that I'm not gonna be stressed. So if you wanna leave, then I think that it's best.